Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
You set us up on this one.
Well, it's a topic that we have to revisit, I think, frequently.
What is it?
Controlled opposition.
Now, keep in mind, controlled opposition was named by the Protocols of Zion as the literally most important thing
Right.
to take over a country.
Yes, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is an actual real thing that happens and it's documented. And we've talked about it before, but I this episode is going to look at it coming from two different directions. Kind of like if you were like on the like 101 freeway going south and I was on the 101 freeway going north and we just sort of passed each other by like along the way somewhere,
Yeah,
like maybe in like Topanga or somewhere.
yeah. Yeah, that big mall.
So that I had this idea over the weekend um, about controlled opposition because I keep questioning certain things about it. And I sort of had an epiphany. And then we were discussing this, and you were talking about Alex Jones and some of the stuff he was doing over the weekend and how he's controlled opposition, but you were coming from a different direction. And I thought this would be a dynamic, interesting episode.
Yeah,
So
not all of our episodes are just fit into a nice little package, but it's the way that controlled opposition is used in different ways,
yes.
completely different audiences, completely
Yes.
different people that they're brainwashing, but
And
it's the same tool.
and that's why it's so effective because there's a there's a controlled opposition for everybody.
Like, so we're talking about Britney Spears and Alex Jones mostly today, and well,
And others.
and
Yes.
others.
Yes.
But Britney Spears has an audience,
Uh-huh.
and Alex Jones has an audience, and they're they're both controlled opposition, and they're both controlling the takeaway of their audience, even
Well,
though they're completely different audiences.
yeah, and the direction that I'm going to take or come from is is kind of nuanced and a little bit different. And it includes a like a lot, like everybody. But why don't you start us off by talking about Alex Jones and
Let's start with that.
what you were
So
learning?
I watched Sunday Night Live on X now, so he doesn't have the InfoWars anymore. It's been taken off the air.
Yeah, so that seems like script.
That's totally script.
That
And
he could
then,
just he so his huge InfoWars, which was like a huge platform, has just suddenly been taken off the air, just
and Band.video's
and
gone too.
and banned, but just coincidentally, he just happens to have a whole new platform right away. And
He's got it all set up.
so what's the big deal then?
And then the other thing too is he looks real relaxed and tan.
Yeah, like he's been on vacation. But what I told you was it's kind of sounds like those those big furniture stores that are always going out of business, and then they go out of business and have the big sale, and then the next day or the next weekend they're open under it's like a grand
Grand
opening
opening.
under a new name, and it's the
Exactly.
same exact furniture and it's the same people running it.
Same drug front.
Yeah, so that's kind of what this Alex Jones thing seems like to me. It's like, well, if you're gonna like be taken off the air, but then you're allowed to immediately have like a whole new platform, then what difference did it make? You just changed the name of your
Plus,
of your show.
so I'm supposed to believe that your whole livelihood has been basically raked from you, but you're all tan and like in your
Calm.
gold sports coat and just like tech. He was totally telling jokes and he was kind of in his zone. Yeah, whether that's Alex Jones or his body double, he was telling some jokes and he was kind of being funny.
Like in a good mood.
He was in a good mood.
And
you
looked
know?
like he'd just gotten back from vacation.
Totally. It did not have a vibe like, dude, I'm under attack and I'm fighting for my life. That's another controlled opposition. Candace is the same way. She's always in the arena getting attacked, but then when it comes down to it, she's just like, oh yeah, but no, me
I
and my
just
white boyfriend,
I just got back from a 3-week vacation in Milan and
it's no big deal.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried, but I'm under attack, you know. So, show me some like signs of worry.
Yeah.
I want to see the dude like maybe looking like crap, disheveled, hasn't shaved, can't
Yeah.
sleep,
Dark circles under the eyes.
begging for money, perhaps, just
Yeah.
like, please, anything. I haven't
Losing
eaten.
his home.
Exactly. I lost my home, everything, my Jewish ex-wife is gonna, take everything. So, anyways, so he's sitting there looking real cash,
Hmm.
not like somebody who just lost his whole livelihood.
Right.
And he's talking, and so now he's talking about Iran, and he's going, no, 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 dude, we're doing all this at the behest of Bibi. Trump has gone off the reservation. He's completely lost his base. And we're basically doing the bidding of Israel over there. And we got to get the uranium that and then so he's showing clips of Bibi Netanyahu going, "We've got to go in and get the uranium, and then we can end the war." And he sounds a lot like Bernie Sanders.
He does.
So he's going, "We need to get all of the uranium, however we have to get it, and if we have to kill women and children, it is okay, and if we have to use nukes, that's fine too." So uh,
I think he went to the same school as Bernie
they're
Sanders.
probably from, yeah, totally. Bernie goes over to Russia. I bet you they're totally like
Well, I think
related somehow.
Bibi Netanyahu, I think he like grew up or and went to school in like on the East Coast anyway. I don't think he like actually like lived
I think he
in
did.
Israel.
He came over here and went to
Yeah.
school. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's totally Americanized,
Yeah.
which is weird. But so, anyways, Alex is showing these videos of him, and basically, it's becoming abundantly clear that everything that we're doing in Iran is at the behest of Bibi Netanyahu.
Yeah. And then he
And
was talking about JD Vance.
and then he's talking about JD Vance and how they're paying people $100 to please attend the event.
Oh my God.
Whereas
We should
before,
go to one.
I know, dude. Well, because everybody knows that JD Vance, had that during the campaign. He had that like rally stop where it was all people from that country from 1948 with the
Yeah.
squiggly hair.
Yeah.
The whole room was filled with those dudes, and they're even doing like rap from those dudes.
Uh-huh.
And
Weird.
he starts his speech by going, "We're gonna make Israel great again."
Oh God.
Yeah. So everybody knows he's in the tank with them. So he can't get anyone to attend his events. He used to get 10,000 people attend events. Now
Wow.
he can't get 500 without paying them. So
Wow.
he's fallen off the cliff, and Trump has as well in terms of popularity. And I
Uh-huh.
believe that. I think that Alex Jones is revealing the method. He's coming out and he's acknowledging
Yeah.
that. So he's saying that
Even the assassination attempts aren't helping Trump.
no, that's why Trump's going on ChatGPT and going, "What next, dude? The third assassination attempt didn't work." So, anyways, so he's bringing up all this now, and then he's even talking about the other thing he talked about, which was kind of a side note, was he goes, "Oh yeah, and this hantavirus thing, this is going to be lockdown 2.0. This is going to be what they're going to use to get people back into getting, you know, demanding you to get pokies and put your mask back on and stay in your homes. That's going to be hantavirus. They're going to try to use that, which I believe that could
Sounds like he was listening to our recent episode.
totally. It's funny how he's just talking about that.
Mm.
So then, so that takes him about an hour to get that out, all of that I
Oh my
just
God.
summarized, because,
In 5 minutes.
yeah. So he's kind of like, blathering on. But then now comes the controlled opposition portion of the show.
Because what is controlled opposition? Truth, 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 lies.
That's right. That's right. And what do they need to do? They need to control your takeaway. And people can conceive of what I mean by that. It's so you're listening to a news show, they want you to have this takeaway. So he comes on and he starts, I'm talking probably about 20 minutes of this he did. He gets ready to play this Dan Balzarian. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Balzarian?
Belzerian.
Balzarian. So this guy Dan Balzarian, who I think is controlled opposition,
Mm-hmm.
he comes out and he makes this statement about how, dude, just drop me off in Israel. I'll go shoot those dudes. Let's go kill them. And so he's got like, I want to exterminate Israel. That's kind of like his like
That's his
whole video.
shtick.
So before Alex plays that video, he does a 20-minute lecturing, literally lecturing his audience,
Mm.
condescending his audience, and like kind of demanding his audience have this takeaway. Otherwise, you're just a bad person. And he's going, all these people just want to say it's all about the Jews. Let's just get rid of the Jews and look at you want to be like this Dan Balzerian guy, you know? And so now I saw the juxtaposition and I was like, look at how the controlled opposition works. So he comes out and he basically delineates the facts of the matter
So so you like feel like he's on your side and you believe in him and trust him.
but also he delineates the facts that Israel is doing a bunch of really evil things right now. They're controlling our Congress, making us go and get into this war. And also they're making us spend money on Israel every year, 5 billion a year, and a lot of our wars have been for their sake. Going back, Iraq, Afghanistan, who knows? Maybe even Vietnam
Oh,
might have been at the behest of that country from 1948.
yeah.
So he delineates that and he validates those claims, but then he says, "But come on now, it's not. You can't just blame that one group." So his job is to go out and reveal the method, but then tell you not to do anything about it.
Right.
That's what he does.
So he sounds like the Q people. Remember during
Exactly.
cooties, and they were like, just sit back and relax. The white hats are coming. It's all under control. You don't have to do anything.
So they have to reveal the method of how daunting things are and how bad things are and how hijacked we are as a country. But then have your takeaway just be, no, 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 but we're going to go and attack like Klaus Schwab and Bill Gates and these figureheads, knowing full well that that's not where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So that's the role of controlled opposition in Alex Jones. In my opinion, my reading is that's how he does it. He delineates this problem, but then says, but remember, don't blame the people who are actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key thing. And the other part of the Sunday Night Live that he covered, I finally had to turn it off when he started doing that, managing my takeaway. I was like, I don't need to listen to this anymore. But before he got to that, they unveiled the gold statue of Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh,
And he
gross.
had video of these people worshiping Trump,
Uh,
worshiping Trump.
Now we don't know if that's even true. Those could have been paid actors, but
It could have been,
it could have been true.
but he had other video footage of people just like, basically like deifying him, like he's a deity.
Mm.
They had all these memes of him like he's like a healer. He calls himself a healer, and he's like,
Oh my gosh.
dude, it's kind of culty. It's
Yeah,
very culty.
yeah.
So there's a cult around Trump,
Uh-huh.
and that cult
So
believes that he's like a supernatural deity.
so the libs were right.
Probably. Well, they reveal the method too.
Yeah. But they used to, I remember them saying that Trump followers were like a cult. Remember?
Totally. That's the pot calling the kettle African American, though, because they are a total cult,
Yeah,
which kind of is a good segue into your controlled opposition now. So,
right.
so I told you about Alex Jones and how he clearly showed how his controlled opposition brand works.
Yes.
He delineates how, that country from 1948 is an integral part of the problem. They're a very bad problem, and but don't do anything about it.
So, I totally think that you're spot on with that. And I think that that's how the big controlled opposition figureheads work. I think that they all kind of work that kind of same way. But you know how I keep questioning, you know how I say I always give people the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
and I keep a lot of times I keep saying how could everybody be in on it? Well, I sort of had I had an epiphany when we did that show about um uh what was the TV show that where everybody like
Hunting wives,
no, where everybody like forgot what they did all day long?
severance.
Severance. So I had an epiphany about before we did that, and I thought, I still think that that's a real possibility,
Oh,
and that kind of plays into this theory that I
you had
have.
this idea that, like, during the nuclear bomb, making of the nuclear bomb, that there could have been people who had compartmentalized roles who didn't fully understand how their role fit into the larger picture of creating a nuclear bomb.
Right, but also the idea of severance, which I think was revealing the method, is that I think it's possible that some people are mind controlled and they go to work and do whatever evil job they're doing and they have no recollection of what they're doing. You know what I mean? So that's the idea of
Yeah.
severance, and I said that could very well be how some of these evil things are getting done. And I had a little bit of a further epiphany over the weekend, and I was thinking about all of because we talked about the Met Gala a
Hmm.
few days ago, and we were watching all of the disgusting,
The bloated
the
stars.
bloated stars, and I don't mean like physically bloated because they're all on Ozempic now, so they're super skinny.
Their bloated
They're
egos
bloated egos.
and their bloated lifestyles.
Yeah, and I was thinking about, all the actors and all of the rock stars and musicians, and how like they're all photographed doing like the various Masonic signs. I like to call them gang signs, like where they're covering one eye, or they're doing like the triangle with their fingers, all those various things. And that's to like kind of, you know, signal to the other people in the club. But what I keep asking is, how could all of those people, like, first of all, how do they all get like the directions, like, okay, do this when you get your picture taken and do this, and what are they doing? And we know that they have to sell their soul to the devil to become A-listers, but do they know what they're doing? And I kind of had an epiphany, and I was thinking, I don't think most of those people are very smart. I don't think a lot of them are very intelligent. And
Yeah,
like
I can agree with you there.
I'm thinking about like Chrissy Teigen. Remember all those like horrendous tweets that she put out
She's
about
like,
like
I like
eating
eating
children?
babies.
Yeah, I
What?
don't think she's very smart.
No,
And all of the people like Kesha,
they're not smart and they're desperate for attention.
yeah, I don't think they're like the sharpest tools in the shed, and they're all out there doing all of these various things.
They would spill the beans
They would
so
spill the
easily.
beans, or like you were saying, they would fuck it up.
They would fuck it up.
They would somehow mess the whole thing up. They would spill the beans. I don't think they're smart enough to keep that big of a secret.
No,
They would end up, um, you know, talking about something they weren't supposed to talk about.
they're hardwired somehow to not ever break the rules.
Yes, I don't think it's because they're choosing not to, or because they're even afraid not to. Because I think somebody like Chrissy Teigen, I don't think she's smart
I
enough to
love that idea.
be
So
able to do that.
they're incapable
They're incapable. And
because it's been conditioned out of them.
yeah, so what I think is, I think that they all have handlers, and they've all been MK Ultra mind controlled, and I think most of them don't even know that it's happening. I think they know that they, made a deal with the devil, but they probably have no real concept of what that actually entails or what
I
that
think
means.
that's deep.
Yeah, and I think that um they know that they're doing whatever to become famous, but I don't think they realize the I don't think they can grasp the depth of what they're actually involved in.
Satan's not going to just roll the dice with someone like Brad Pitt knowing all that he knows behind the scenes
Yeah,
and then just getting loose-lipped with a reporter someday.
right.
There's got to be some way that it's airtight. And I think you're right. It's got to be some type of a severance or some kind of mind control
Yeah.
that they put on these people.
I think that they are, we've seen like many times how sometimes some of them will sort of start to like go off the rails. And then
A la Britney.
yeah, like they like go crazy, quote unquote,
Yeah,
and they start to like spew, like, remember Kanye and
yeah.
even Mel Gibson. And I think they go off the rails like that once in a while, and then they have to get calibrated.
They rein them back
They
in.
rein them back in by saying, the code word, like, they went to rehab, or like just recently, Brittany got arrested for drunk driving, and now she's going to do rehab, but
Which we were saying, what,
is,
how easy could it have been that they just took over her vehicle,
yeah,
made it accelerate super fast, cop pulled her over, and then they just go, okay, and then there's a public report for her getting pulled over.
she got anhished.
She got Heche, and then she immediately checked herself into rehab after
Yeah,
getting arrested.
yeah.
So that could have been complete mind control.
I think what happens is I think they all have handlers, and probably a lot of these handlers are like kind of like high up with Satan. And I think probably a lot of them handle several of these people. So they might not just be handling like Brittany. They might have like several of them that they handle. And I think those people put them under a really tight MK Ultra mind control. And they probably just control like their whereabouts, like where they go, what they say. They act as if they're like their, publicist or their trainer, like Kanye's trainer, or their you know what do these people always have, like um people that they're like their confidants, but they have a name for it. They kind of like keep them beside them to like
You know
guide
who
them.
was like that was like Hillary Clinton was hanging out with Uma Abedin or whatever her name was.
Yes,
And she was always just
yes,
kind of lingering with her
yeah,
like hijab in the background.
yeah. So I think that that could very well explain, like, maybe like people even like Candace Owens and um people like that. Like, I think that they are controlled opposition, but I think it's possible that maybe they're not even aware that they are controlled opposition. I think that they're just being controlled.
They signed up to play a role because they were told what the rewards would be.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's going to be how much money you make. You're going to be famous.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went, say no more.
Right.
And
Sign
then
on the dotted line.
so Satan went, good, good, good. Now you're not really going to fully understand what the hell you're doing. But the main thing is, we're not going to let you ever say something that's going to hurt us.
Right.
Because if you ever do that, then you're going to have to go to rehab.
Yeah. It's either rehab, or it's a car crash,
We have
or
other ways.
sometimes unalive, or suicide.
You know,
That's always a good one. When they
anybody can
really go off the rails.
anybody can overdose these days.
Yeah, it can happen to anyone.
Anybody can overdose. Because
It's like
that's
an
another one.
epidemic.
See, we talked about how we're being lied to,
Hmm.
like Brian Williams going, no, 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 I was dropped into a hot zone. Dude, the guy next to me got shot. I fought Iraqis to get off the helicopter. Oh, wait, no, I was
Didn't really happen to
I
me.
was anchored in a different timeline, and I thought that happened to me.
But okay, so could you see how where, like, that instance could have been, like, maybe he wasn't really lying. Like, maybe he had that memory put into him.
Oh, ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And he actually believed
because
it.
he's so mind controlled that he lost track of like what was real, and
Exactly.
he really did think he did it. He Sirhan.
Yes.
He
I
disassociated.
I think it's quite possible that a lot of these people are being totally brainwashed in a way to put out certain messages to the masses, so that they can, like, basically triple M to the PS and brainwash us,
Ooh,
you
and
know?
maybe that's why the nepotism. Because didn't you say his daughter now is like a big actress?
Yeah,
Maybe there's something in his genetic line, like his family line, that makes them easily controlled.
right. Just
And
like,
maybe that's why there's so much nepotism,
yeah.
is because some people genetically are easily controlled.
I think that's a big part of it. And also, I think, like, they do like nepotism because if, for example, like Brian Williams, like is mind controlled or whatever, and then he has a child, he's going to probably raise her in that state,
Totally.
you know?
She'll be like totally pliable her whole life. And
Yeah,
he'll just be like, oh, good, 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 sweetie. You just go with your handler now.
yeah,
That's probably what happened to Brittany.
yeah.
A lot of these people, like Angelina Jolie,
Mm-hmm.
her dad was a big somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what he was, but he's like a big somebody, right?
John Voight. Isn't that
That's right. He's
isn't
John
that
Voight,
her dad?
dude, and he's total culture club.
Yeah,
He's controlled opposition. So
right.
he's the one that comes out and he's like, no, I'm a conservative.
Yeah.
I'm on the conservative side. You
Mm-hmm.
know, kind of like Rob Schneider. No, no, no,
Right.
no. I'm a conservative. You can trust me.
Yeah.
I'm on your side. But they're lies, lies. I mean, truth, 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 lies.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
But what I'm saying is it isn't it possible that these people don't even grasp the whole picture?
I think that's totally
They don't
feasible.
really know.
Totally
Because I
feasible.
mean, to think that all of these actors and musicians are smart enough to keep something that big a secret
No.
without spilling the beans ever, I
Or
don't think
have the
that's
self-control to not. I mean,
yeah.
I suck at keeping secrets.
I mean, and even like some of them would just be out partying and stuff and like
Totally.
spill the beans to somebody,
Totally. They
you
have an
know?
airtight way of controlling the information.
Yeah,
And I think it's calibration
it's
through,
calibration. What?
well, like Kanye is a perfect example. He
Yeah,
started to go off the reservation
and
and he
they,
started to reveal the method a little bit too much.
yeah,
And they said, well, we're going to put you on psychotropics and put you in a mental hospital, take your kids away if you don't shut up.
yeah,
And then he came out and did a tweet in Hebrew that said, there's nothing wrong with that country from 1948. They're great people. I love them.
yeah. That was so weird how these people all just do like 180, you know?
Well, he sold his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye West sold his soul. He said it on stage one time. I heard it back in like 2008. He's like, I sold my soul and all they gave me was a Happy Meal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not joking around.
No.
It's like when Brad Pitt in 1995 in Rolling Stone goes, whoa, my career really took off when I sold my soul to Sid.
Yeah.
He's not joking around.
No.
So I think you're right. I think they're being used. The point of this episode is controlled opposition.
Is out there.
It's very important. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just out there. It's not like, oh, well, that's a tool that they use and they fall back on sometimes, the culture club.
Yeah.
The culture club is depending on controlled opposition,
And like you were saying, it's the most important part of getting the information
taking
out there.
over a country.
Yeah.
Like, so the Protocols of Zion from 1905, if you go and you have to go on BitChute. It's hard to find them.
Bit
And I
shoot.
bet you if you go on ChatGPT and go, tell me about the Protocols of Zion, you'd be like, I have no record of anything
Yeah.
like that. And then I'll
He has
go and
limited
I'll
knowledge.
show it to him and you go, well, when you put it in that context, yes, this is what that is. But so anyways, in
So,
19,
oh God, I just had an epiphany about that.
what?
So ChatGPT is basically, we're going to do a whole episode on ChatGPT, but it's basically like a search engine that you don't really have to like type everything into and stuff. And so it should know everything, right? It's like a Google,
That's what I was under the impression.
but it's turning out to like not give us much information at all. Like when we ask it certain things, it has no
It has
recollection.
guardrails. Like when you're trying to make a meme, it's like you've bumped up against these guardrails.
But not only that, like just like when we were just like Googling what was Britney Spears arrested for, it was like,
No clues.
I have no documentation that she was arrested. And then we go and we like Google it and
It's right there.
it's right there.
And then
So
if you do a print screen and a screenshot and you go put it into the search
yeah,
for him and say, dude, check this out, he'll go, well, now that gives it context.
yeah, now that you put it that way, I totally see what you're saying.
Now, yes.
So I think that you know how they're trying to dumb us down and keep like make us forget stuff and not remember history. I think ChatGPT is trying to keep us from knowing
The truth.
much,
I think it
knowing
plays,
much,
yeah, I
you
think
know.
so. I think it tries to like if they don't want you to know something, it kind of diverts you away.
Yeah.
And it'll say, you're going to have to go look that up someplace else.
Yeah, and
And
pretty soon that someplace else won't be available either.
that won't be, and then that's what I think the Mandela effect is.
Hmm.
The Mandela effect is a thing now because remember you had your racket jackets?
Yes, that was so creepy.
So the rack of jackets was there. Then
one
you
day.
went back to the store the next day, and the rack of jackets wasn't there, and nobody even knew about it.
Nobody there had any recollection of an entire rack of jackets.
So I think they might be planting seeds with that. That might be a real phenomena. And
Mhm.
that now I've heard a lot of people talking about the Mandela effect, where they seem to remember Felix the cat looked like this, but now that's completely from their memory. That could be a training because what I think they're going to start doing is they're going to start revising history
Mhm.
on a broad scale. And you're going to have to go, I thought George Washington was the first president. They're going to be like, I have no record of that.
And people will be like, "No, I
I
don't
have no
remember
record of
that."
that. I don't know where you heard that.
And with all this microdust and chemtrails that are being sprayed on us, like
Totally.
they'll probably just sort of like tweak it so most people will just be like, "No, I don't even remember hearing about George Washington.
And that's all they got to do.
I think
Gaslight you.
he was a dictator that killed all the Indians."
Yeah, I heard something about him being, he was a racist for sure,
He was
and he was
definitely a
patriarchal.
racist. Yeah. He beat his wife.
That's coming out like in a lot of things now. Like, you were telling me about this new show called Unchosen.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Unchosen.
You have to start watching that
I'm
so
gonna start watching
we
that.
can compare notes.
But I remember one of the things you told me about it was the cult is extremely patriarchal and
Hmm.
oppressive to women.
Yeah.
The Culture Club loves using that type of social engineering right now.
Yeah.
That's really good for them to come out because they can vilify Christianity,
And vilify men and
vilify
get
men,
women to be like angry
angry,
at the men.
and then that destroys the nuclear family because a nuclear family has to have a woman who supports her man. And they're like, no, no, you're going to support your man. He's oppressing you.
Hmm.
So, anyways, the Protocols of Zion, it does pertain to this episode very specifically because in 1905, a big group of people from that country from 1948, they gathered together and they came up with a very specific plan of how to take over a country, and then they executed it called the Russian Revolution. And the Russian Revolution, they took over for like 80 years. I mean, when
Right.
did I think the wall went down in 1986 and they took over in like 1916. So you're talking like 70 years they took over the country.
Oh my God.
And I think they still pretty much run it. You know, Putin is probably one of their little puppets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, totally.
So, people need to be aware that the Protocols of Zion explicitly says you have to control both sides of the narrative, and that's called controlled opposition. And there's one puppet master controlling the left and the right and creating this false paradigm of a left and a right, and that is the most important tool to taking
Yes.
over this country. So be aware of it. That's the white pill for this one.
Right.
Be aware of it.
Yes.
Be aware of how it works and how insidious it is. And don't fall for this, oh, well, that's a Republican and those are Democrats. Those are good people, or vice versa. Like my
Hmm.
mom, she still goes, oh my God, Ted Lieu, I love him. He's so great. And I go, oh my God, mom, none of those people are great. Any Democrat is full on in the cult.
Yeah.
They don't even hide it.
No,
Like Ted
they
Lieu
don't try
probably,
to hide it.
no, he's probably been to those meetings like in Eyes Wide Shut, where he's like,
Oh
wait,
yeah, totally.
he's all small and Asian and
Uh,
fucking some chick. Anyways.
Drinking blood. He probably
Al
goes on flights with Al Gore.
Gore, he probably idolized Al Gore.
He opens his fridge on the plane. It's
Uh,
full of blood.
he's all hanging out with Ilhan Omar, thinks she's hot. And AOC. He probably parties with AOC. He's like, dude, she's so hot. Anyways, they're not good people,
No,
but then JD Vance and Trump are not good people. They're
no,
all in bed with the same culture club that's running the whole show,
right.
and they pit one against the other, and that's called controlled opposition. So when you hear Alex Jones, you hear him delineating truth, 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 but then he's going, but it's not that country from 1948. Stop saying that. That's controlled opposition.
Well, and I just had another maybe this was an epiphany too, but
That's what happens when we're talking.
I know and you know what? I hope our listeners talk with people and they have epiphanies
I'd
too
love for you to
because
talk to me.
it feels good.
Comment. Tell me
Yeah.
if you guys had an epiphany from the show.
So I was thinking, controlled opposition comes in many different ways. It's like we were saying, actors, musicians, uh influencers, whatever.
Totally.
It's out there everywhere. But like, think about even down to like your local scene, which I think there's a lot of pastors and ministers that are controlled opposition. And
Totally. Well, we saw that with the cooties.
yeah,
So what happened is Pastor Rob just kind of came and took
Rob
over.
McCoy.
I'm
Yeah.
Rob McCoy, and I got my big church over in Newbury Park. You guys all come over there. We got like 6,000 people coming.
Yeah. And you
We
know
ain't
what?
gonna know,
I
man.
went there a few times, and like I saw Charlie Kirk speak there, and I was like really excited because he was um Pastor Rob McCoy was really against the cooties, and so I was like, wow, this guy's really trying to do something. And
Yeah,
and I heard him speak a few times at various places, and I went to the church several times. Um
I was always skeptical though. I was like, there's something about it. But I just kind of held my peace. But then he
yeah.
got revealed to be a scumbucket.
Uh-huh. And he had some
What was he doing? There's something that finally was when he had a German Shepherd moment with us.
that was fairly recently
Yeah,
too.
and he basically, I think he
Well,
something to do with Charlie Kirk.
he's
Oh, he
got
was saying Israel. He was saying we need to support Israel 100%.
yeah,
That's what he did.
and he was kind of seemed like he was trying to cover up a lot of the stuff around that whole Charlie Kirk incident,
Yeah.
which we'll probably
He was
never
coming
get
out
to
and
the
saying,
bottom of.
leave Erica Kirk alone.
Yeah,
She's a great woman.
it
Come
was
on
it
now.
was bizarre. But anyway, yeah, I think that a lot of
He's controlled opposition.
ministers like that,
And that was a local thing.
that
That
was
was that was like right here where the rubber meets the road.
yeah,
That was because we were doing our protest and they kind of came into our milieu. And the thing is we were not hip to it then. We kind of invited them in and were very open-hearted, like, oh, great, we want to
yeah,
bring as many because we had a very open heart. Like we want as many people as possible to join our stuff.
right.
But since controlled opposition comes and hijacks movements, so now we're hip
Yeah,
to it.
yeah. So yeah, so I think you got to be careful with that too, because I think there's a lot of ministers out there who, and going along with what I just talked about a few minutes ago, many of them pro probably don't even know that they're doing it because they probably have handlers
They don't
coming down
know.
from the top and they're
Yeah,
being told what to do. So like they're
because they're not smart people.
no, and so there are ministers out there who are leading their flocks astray, and they're telling their congregations, like, "Oh yeah, we have to support Israel; it's our greatest ally," and they're telling them all kinds of stuff, and actually, they are a form of controlled opposition.
Totally. Because they're doing the bidding of that country from 1948 by telling them, oh, by the way, we have to support them.
Hmm.
Otherwise, we are going to bring about Armageddon,
Right.
you know? So, anyways, and I think your point about Brittany is totally true. Brittany doesn't seem like a Phi Beta Kappa, but
Yeah.
what I will say is, in this instance, I think Brittany might be smarter than we lead on, and she might be sick of her dad. Her dad's got like conservatorship over her.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of this weird power. Like they can just like tell you, no, 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 you're going to rehab, sweetie.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like she always came across as like this little like bubbly, like kind of dumb blonde little girl. But maybe she's not that dumb. And maybe she has tried to go off the rails a
What about the
few too
first time
many
she tried to
times.
go off the rails is when they had her shave her head and then she
Yeah.
was like breaking her car.
Yeah.
Remember, she gets out of the car with no panties on and just
Yeah.
like flashes everybody saw her vag.
And
Remember that?
and she shaved her head and she was like just like seeming like she
That
was crazy.
that could have been like she was MK Ultra.
Totally. I
And they
think
were
she
saying,
was.
okay, we're going to do this to you to punish you because she probably started to kind of talk. And at that time, it probably would have been really bad for her to come out with some of this stuff
Yeah,
because that was right when Obama was like rising and ascendant. And if she
exactly.
would have come out with like, oh, dude, Obama, dude, he's a gay dude who's like totally like raping little kids and stuff.
And married to a man.
Married to a man, dude, that's a man, man. If she would have said any of that back in 2009, that would have been like blowing people's
Oh
minds.
yeah.
Dude, I
Yeah.
wonder. And if
Hmm.
she just got reined back in,
I don't think when these people like go crazy like that, they always blame it on like some sort of like psychotic break or drugs. And
Such an easy cop out.
it's such an easy cop out. I'm not convinced that that's what's happening to all these people. I think that they're trying to break free of the matrix.
They have so many different mind control substances now.
Yeah,
They've really mastered it.
right.
And when they bring someone like okay, so Brittany just this was right down the 101.
I
She
know.
was right by Westlake Village.
Yeah,
So she was in Westlake Village and her car went up to like 120 miles an hour, which in that section is sketchy. You're going super fast.
yeah.
So I think her car probably got took over.
Uh-huh.
And then she
Well,
probably
that's what they did to Anne Heche.
that's what they did.
Remember?
And also I think Princess Diana, which was back in the 80s,
Yes.
but that
Yes.
seemed weird too. So what
Yes.
if they can take over cars, but then now she gets arrested, sent to the
Oh,
rehab, and now they're going to give her psychotropic drugs.
right. So, they're talking about like they're going to put a kill switch on all the cars starting in 2027. They're going to have these
Yeah,
spyware in them and stuff
yeah.
to determine whether or not we're like
You
safe to
shouldn't be
drive.
driving.
Yeah, and then they can just turn the switch off at any point remotely. Do you think they just came up with this technology just in the last couple years? It seems like whenever the technology
No,
comes out that we're allowed to use like ChatGPT and AI and all this stuff, it's already been
50 years old at
used.
least.
Yeah, it's already been done 50 years ago or more by the
Dude,
CIA. And
I'm convinced they remote controlled airplanes into the buildings on 9/11. I think that was how it was done.
yeah,
So they've had this in my opinion, they've
unless
had
those
this
were
remote control,
holograms.
or unless they were holograms, which
Yeah.
that's totally plausible
What
too.
about that flight, that Malaysia flight that went down?
380 or whatever.
Yeah, and there was no like evidence of it, like nobody could find any of it. And people who were watching, like that looked at the I guess some of the radar or something, they said that it just literally disappeared.
What if
Like
that was just a total fugazi and it was mind control? It was trauma-based mind control just to get people afraid. Like this jet went down,
it could be.
because that was we were talking about the hantavirus on on the
I
cruise.
know.
Hantavirus on a cruise could be just like full on
Snakes on a plane.
snakes on a plane. It's just a full on myth, but people hear that and they go, "Oh,
It
that plane went down and it
it's an
disappeared."
urban legend.
Yeah, So, anyways, this episode, I think the white pill is be aware of controlled opposition. I think that's the white pill for this one. And
And
here's some of the different ways that it's
yeah,
used
and
in this episode.
be aware that it's multifaceted and it's coming at you from all different directions,
Yes,
and it can take on many different forms.
for sure.
So it's not just the newscaster on CNN or NBC or Fox. It's not just the influencer with a million followers. It's not just the musician or the actor or the
It could be the
minister.
pastor with a nice face.
Yeah, it could be anything. And basically, um our kind of stance always is like, in fact, I just made a comment on Instagram about this. This one guy was like complaining that, if it's even a guy, I don't know, that this other big one is like copies all his stuff, and I said, well, when somebody has a million followers and they're not following anybody, they're obviously controlled opposition,
That's a good
which
point.
this one is. He had like 1.2 million followers and he's following like 20 people. And I'm like, um, where did this guy come from?
That's right.
Because and even the other day, it's funny because I tuned into Candace. You know how you tune into Alex once in a while? I still tune into Candace once in a while. And
Yes.
she was talking about some some guy that she doesn't like. And she's like, nobody likes this guy. Nobody listens to him, but he got so here's truth, like truth lies.
Yeah.
But he got a show. How did he get a show? And she's like, when people fail forward, they're controlled opposition, and they're foisted. And she was using all of our lingo that I've never heard her use before, and I'm like, is she listening to us?
See?
It's weird.
Because
But
foisted was a word that we used that's not
I never.
commonly used, and it's exactly what they do.
Yeah, and she was saying, she was talking about how this guy, nobody listens to him, and suddenly he's got his own show. And she goes, and I looked and like he only gets like he 300 views per episode, like an average of 300 views. And she's like, you could literally get that by accident. Like you could get that by just accidentally putting something on YouTube, and 300 people would find it somehow. And I was thinking, okay, that's an interesting point that she's making, because not only does that kind of like ring true to like what we've talked about so many times, um, but it also goes in both directions, because we don't get any views on YouTube, literally like none.
Yeah,
And so if what Candace Owens says is true, which I think she kind of has a point,
I think so.
how could we not get any views on our episodes on YouTube? Like
We are not foisted. The
we're not
internet
only not foisted, we're like
suppressed.
suppressed. We're being unfoisted,
No,
you
that's
know?
right. And the internet is tightly controlled. Don't let them fool you.
Yeah,
Because you can go out and you can upload anything you want,
yeah.
but you have to upload it to these platforms, and
Hmm.
these platforms determine who sees your stuff. And then, ChatGPT will explain it to you and be like, well, we show it to an initial pool of people. And
Right,
then based on how they react within the first 1 or 2 seconds, it gets shown to other people. Well,
right.
that doesn't sound cool.
No,
Fuck that, dude.
yeah,
Dude, if I put something out, show it to people who, like, I put these hashtags, show it to people who are interested in those types of topics.
right.
Don't, it doesn't have to be like all this tightly, because these people are micromanagers.
Yeah,
They're obsessed with micromanaging everything. And so they micromanage the internet to the point where if it's not foisted, no one sees it.
right.
So that's when you see somebody come out that's a new guy, like Sean Ryan.
Yeah, and he's got a million
I
followers.
got 1 million followers and I got Alex Jones is on my show. And so is
Hmm.
Tucker.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
like,
organic.
no, you're the new controlled opposition dude to come out and do what you're told by Big Daddy Satan. So, yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So controlled opposition is gnarly. And
Yeah,
once you start to unpeel like what it is, then you start to see it. Like Candace, somebody just mentioned CO is her initials,
yeah.
and it's controlled
And
opposition.
we said that. We
We
pointed
said
that
that
out
initially. So
months
we're starting
ago.
to see our show getting referenced in those zeitgeist.
Hmm.
People are listening, even though we only have 300 views on our best episode. Somebody's listening.
Well, we have like 2,000 views on Antarctica.
On Antarctica.
Yeah,
We do, and we're going to keep growing. An audience help us. You can see what we're up against. They foist all the controlled opposition, but someone who's organic, they're not going to foist us. But we can escape from.
Alcatraz.
We escape from no. It's alligator
Alligator
Alcatraz.
Alcatraz.
Because alligator Alcatraz is the analogy for the free speech prison that we're on, and we're going to escape. And the way that we escape is we make good Chinese food, and you go tell your friends about it.
Right. It's word of mouth.
It's word of mouth.
Hmm.
Anything else on this one?
No, but I'd like to thank our audience for listening.
Thanks for listening. Where can they find us?
They can find us on Instagram, Unslave Your Mind Podcast,
Yes.
and
Rumble,
Rumble, Unslave Your Mind Podcast, and
X.
X.
No one
And
finds me on X. I post on there all the time, and
see,
it'll get like
that's weird.
3 impressions.
Nobody finds us on YouTube either, which is weird too. So,
I'm gonna try doing some clips on YouTube and some clips on Insta. So we'll start doing some clips with some memes.
yeah.
Hopefully that will help to drive some more traffic. But people, please tell your friends
Tell
about
your
us
friends
and
and
share
share
us.
us on Instagram and Rumble, because we're just trying to get the word out about all this
We have a
stuff.
shirt available.
We have shirts.
We have one shirt that's available right now. You can go buy it
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't
at our
know it
store.
was. Okay.
So
So
go
go
to
to our website at
our
slaveyourmindpodcast.com.
and then go to the store and you can click on the one shirt that we have, and we're gonna build some more on there.
Yeah. We're going to have a whole wardrobe.
We're gonna have a whole wardrobe. We'll have
And you
hats.
can see our like if you go to our Instagram, you can see all of our memes that we've been making, and our characters often wear the clothes that we're designing.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there we go. So
Yes.
we're up and coming. We're growing. By the way, now we're in the studio and
Yes.
we're recording from the studio. So we're legit and we're not going anywhere, audience. But please share us. You can see what we're up against because people like Candace Owens are foisted and she's even acknowledging it.
Hmm.
Well, you're foisted. if you see an account who's got millions of followers and they don't follow anybody, the accounts that are real will have 1,134 followers and 1,163 people they're following.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the people who built it up.
Yeah. Or at least like, so there's a few accounts that I've been following for several years, and I remember them starting out with like they had like 1,000 followers, and I was like, oh wow, they have a lot of followers. And now they have like there's this one, she's got like 70,000, and she's following like 5,000 people. So
She built it
I
up.
saw her building it up, and she, was following people, and she was reporting stuff, and um like you could see it happening, whereas some of these other people just like show up overnight and they've got 1 million followers and they're following like 2 people. That's not organic.
That's not organic.
No.
Yep. And you got to be able to understand what controlled opposition is to be able to discern stuff like that.
Exactly. Well, that was a great
That was great.
deep dive down the highway of controlled
Yes.
opposition.
Yes. Everything from Brittany to Alex
I
Jones.
know.
We covered a lot.
That's
Okay.
good.
I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.